Hello, everyone. Could you please confirm, is my voice audible to each and every one of you? All right. So I welcome you all to the Reset Orientation Batch for Advanced Taxation. My name is Saniya Asif. And before that, I start with the session, let me just clarify one thing that there must be like few students who are the regular students who have connected to VIFHE for the last 1 month. See, it's a reset orientation session for about 25 minutes, which is something I'm going to take for those students who have just enrolled right after the announcement of the result, while the regular practice session will definitely be followed afterwards. So if in case you would like to take a break for 20 to 25 minutes, that's totally up to you, because I shall be taking approximately 20 to 25 minutes to deal with those students who are new to our portal, and afterwards I'll start with the routine practice session, right? All right. So when it comes to advanced taxation, as you people are either already a part of VIFHE or you are going to pursue this as an option to study your advanced taxation, here's a brief introduction of mine. It's been 19 years since I'm teaching ATX and TX UK. And you can even find my presence through this link on official website of ACCA. I'm just rushing through all these formalities because here actually comes the main thing which I need to discuss with you, and that is about the key syllabus area. Now, just let me know that how many of you are going to reattempt in March. I mean, this is not the first time. Rather, you are going to take your exam again, just for the sake of like having a little bit of the knowledge from your side. The question is being asked. All right. So, to all those students who have not unfortunately been able to get through this exam of advanced taxation, let me just tell you that the main reason is not following the time. I mean, if you are going to leave your exam incomplete, if you are not able to complete your exam within the time, then this is like going to be the biggest reason behind failing any exam. Normally, it used to be said in the past that whosoever had been able to complete their exam, examiner tend to have a little bit softer corner for that student. I mean, this was like this could be a myth, but generally speaking, that if there is like any student who has at least completed the paper, and for instance, if it's like going to secure 49 marks or 48 marks, then for such students, examiner used to like go through the attempted questions once again so that they could give a margin of 1 to 2 marks to that particular student, just because of the fact that they are like giving a regard to the fact that he or she has completed their exam. But for instance, if someone has secured 49 marks, but on the other hand he or she had not been able to complete their exam, examiner is not going to give a second chance to that person by visiting to those questions which he has already checked, in order to create a margin of 1 to 2 marks, in order to just take him through that process. I mean, it's like completing your exam would always be creating a good impression on the minds of an examiner. It will always be like giving an edge to a student whosoever completes the paper, so that that person will be given a comprehensive, a good score for the sake of like passing their paper, right? So incomplete exam is the biggest reason. And what are basically the further reasons for leaving your paper incomplete? It's like insufficient practice. For instance, if I'm a student and I am going to prepare any paper for the very first time, and I do not practice well for that exam and I just appear in the exam center, of course it will be taking a little bit of the time to keep on like deciding, to thinking, rethinking that how the question is to be solved, how I need to take a start, what format do I need to follow. But if in case I would have done the sufficient practice before actually appearing into the exam center, the practice would be providing me with an added advantage to go through that exam. And that's also in like a quick in an efficient way, right? And while doing the practice, taking mock exam is also very important. I mean, this is like really important that you must have attempted a mock exam before taking your real exam, because once you have gone through the entire exam in a single go under the time pressure, then this is like going to give you a good insight of how the exam has to be handled, how the pressure of the exam needs to be handled. And of course, if you haven't covered the syllabus completely, and there are certain areas for which you do not have no knowledge at all, that is also putting you at an uneasy situation, that is like also putting you in a troublesome situation, because obviously for the sake of like completing your exam, you really need to have a good know-how of what a syllabus is. So technically there are many types of taxes, out of which the few important types of taxes are there in your syllabus. And the point is that you will have to cover each and every type of tax. I hope you people are already familiar with what an income tax is. It is income tax, which is to be paid by individuals. Then it is corporation tax, which is to be paid by companies. This is like CGT, the capital gains taxes, which is to be paid by individuals with respect to the disposal of non-current assets. By non-current asset, precisely, I should say the chargeable assets. And then whensoever there happens to be an inheritance of anything, I mean, whensoever there happens to be a transfer of property from one person to another person, that is like going to take place. If that is going to take place via inheritance, then inheritance tax is to be imposed. And last but not the least, it is the sales tax, which we specifically call as value added tax in UK, because whensoever the product is sold and the seller is registered for VAT purposes with HMRC, he or she will have to charge VAT over the selling price of the product, right? So these are those types of taxes which are very important from practical perspective, and they are there in your syllabus, and one should really have a good grip with respect to these types of taxes. But one more thing, of course, you would not be knowing each and every detail about each and every type of taxes, right? I mean, this is something which I am discussing from students' perspective. Even if you are an above average student, you may try to cover each and everything, but maybe you would not excel in every concept related to these types of taxes. But who said that you will have to excel? It's like you will have to cover each and everything. Of course, for with few concepts, you must be doing fabulous. With few concepts, you will be like just okay. And there must be like few concepts as well for which your concepts are not very sharp, but the point is that you must have gone each and everything. If you have gone through each and everything, that would mean that you have covered the whole of the syllabus, though you would not be having a superb skill with respect to each and everything. But still, if anything comes in your exam for which you do not have an ample idea, for which you haven't practiced well, but still, as long as you have a general good insight of that particular topic, you would be able to write something else. So that's how the syllabus coverage is must. Now, if I talk about what we are doing at VIFHE, let me just tell you that each and everything, literally 100% of the syllabus has been recorded. It is like given to you people at the portal of VIFHE. And the total hours which we have allocated in respect of this thing is about 81 hours. Approximately 81 hours are basically consumed for the sake of recording our sessions. So if you people do have a tendency of spending 2 to 2.5 hours on daily basis without like taking a gap, then you will be able to cover each and everything in less than 40 days, right? So for instance, if you are just going to spend 2 hours on daily basis, while at this time I would recommend you that at least you would be spending more than 40 you would be spending like more than 2 hours in order to cover it up in less than 40 days. So for instance, if you are going to spend 2.5 hours on daily basis, that would mean that the whole course of 81 hours shall be completed in around like 33 days, which is like quite good. I mean, today is 17th of January. If you start from today and you'll be spending 2.5 hours on daily basis, that would mean that by 20th of February or 19th of February, you would have been done with each and everything. And then you'll have a time for revision purposes and doing the practice. For the sake of revision, you will not have to watch the recorded sessions again. Rather, you will have to go through the e-notes. But let me just tell you one thing that all those students who had taken our sessions before, you know for the fact that students from multiple ethnicities are there who are basically connected to VIFHE. So we try to record the session at a relatively lower pace, right? And majority of the students try to increase the pace of the video because they find it like comfortable that way, that if they increase the pace of the video by 1.5, then even within like 2.5 hours they tend to cover a relatively more syllabus content. So that would mean that if you are going to spend 2.5 hours on daily basis, but you are going to increase the pace at which video is to be watched, then the same content is like going to be completed earlier. I mean, even in around like 25 days, you shall be able to cover each and everything. But you will have to increase the pace of the video only then if you find it comfortable that way, right? So the thing is that if you are now going to be consistent and you'll be spending 2.5 hours on daily basis, you shall be able to complete each and everything on time. And once you watch the recordings, keep one thing in mind, that I have provided you people with e-notes as well as the PDF of PowerPoint slides. And all you need to do is you will have to take a print out of it, as these notes or PowerPoint slides are downloadable and printable. So you will have to take a printout of it. Just keep those prints in front of you in your hand while you're watching a certain recording. So, for instance, if you're going through chapter number 1, you will have to take the chapter 1 notes in front of you. And as long as you're going through the session, whenever you come across any important point, any important topic, you just keep on like jotting it down on the e-notes, or maybe the PowerPoint slides if you are like comfortable that way. So if you're just going to write down few things in your own words, this is how your e-notes are going to be converted into a comprehensive set of notes. So once you have watched the whole of the recordings, by the time you go through the e-notes, which have now become the comprehensive ones, you will be able to revise each and everything, and that's so in a smooth way, because it is not just the simple content being written on the e-notes, but it does contain all the information that you have gathered while watching the recorded sessions over there. So this is like going to give you an edge, a benefit for revision purposes, right? There's a question in front of me. Did you manage to answer? Okay, okay. That wasn't like for me, that was for the student. Okay, so we have provided you with the planner as well. As the regular session has already been started. So for every week, we shall be conducting a live session, and this is conducted on Saturdays just to accommodate majority of the students. So with live classes, I shall be doing the practice, and for the sake of practice purposes, I shall be using the Kaplan revision kit, as it does contain all of the past exam attempts, but all the past exam attempts must have to be converted into the latest finance act, which is going to be tested for the students in their relevant exam setting. So this time round in March 26, this is FA 24, which is going to be examined. And this Kaplan revision kit will now have to be, this will have to be used. Though, if you are planning to sit in June 2026 exam, instead of March, if you would like to take a delay and would like to sit in June 2026 sitting, let me just tell you, there the Finance Act would be changed and then Finance Act 25 would be tested, right? And if in case you have taken your exam back in December, back for December 2025 attempt, and unfortunately you had not been able to make it up, then you need to decide very wisely that whether you are going to take the same exam for March or June, because in March the rules are like slightly different as compared to those which are going to be tested in June 2026, though it is about only 5% change which is expected. And basically, for advanced taxation, let me just tell you, the major change that we have seen is in case of how the overseas income is to be assessed. By major change would not mean that there's like going to be a drastic change, but the prominent change that we have seen from previous to this year is about foreign income. Though I may share the finance act pages with you people in order to decide that whether you are going to take up your exam in March or June. But if in case you are highly stuck, because this is the time when most of the people are having their audit assignments, the accounts compilation assignments, and to all those people who are there in UK system must be approaching to their self assessment filing date. So if you people have any professional commitments, and if there is like any sort of heavy personal commitment that you have to follow, and if there are like anything else which is like bothering you, then better to take June 2026 attempt. Otherwise, if you do not have to deal with like any of some overwhelming activity, I should not use this word, the overwhelming activity. If the activity is not that material, then better to reappear in March 2026 attempt, right? And yes, there is a question that for each class, do you have specific chapters that should have been completed prior to joining? Yes, yes. When you go through the planner, you'll come to know that every week we are assigning different chapters for which the practice session will have to be conducted. And all the practice sessions which have already been done, the recordings are there on the portal. In fact, any session which I'll be taking live with you people, its recording is done and it is uploaded within 24 hours of the session. There's a question after the lectures, should we practice from kit? I'll be doing the practice kit with you people in every live session on Saturdays. And of course, once the whole of the syllabus will be covered, you yourself will have to do a further practice from the same kit as well, right? Okay, so you people, once you get enrolled at VIFHE, you people will have to join our WhatsApp group, the paid students WhatsApp group, though there is like another WhatsApp group as well for which is called as global group. There you can find hundreds of students who are in the same boat. They are going to take their exam in March 2026 attempt. And if in case you tend to require any additional resource, any material, maybe the soft copy of your kit or anything else, you may just drop your query in the WhatsApp group, and there are like many students who would be there to help you out on as soon as possible basis. But here, once you are enrolled, the paid students WhatsApp group, the enrolled students WhatsApp group is there for you, in which you can interact with me. You may drop your queries over there, and I would happily be assisting you on as soon as possible basis, right? And there is like teacher self testing model as well, where after every live class, we will be releasing an assignment and we would be giving you a deadline for the sake of solving the assignment and submitting it back, and afterwards this will be checked so that you may come to know on weekly basis that how your progress is going, right? So once all the recorded sessions are done, we'll be holding a grand revision session where in which once again the main emphasis will be over revision, and then in the end I'll be taking a mock exam, right? This will be checked, and that's how a detailed feedback will be given, and that's how you'll be able to come to know that what were your shortcomings, how you can address to them, how the things could be corrected in future. And in WhatsApp group, not just I, but there are other members of the VIFHE team as well, who are there to support you, and there you'll find the teacher assistant as well. But when it comes to the technical conceptual queries related to advanced taxation, you will find it's always me who is like coordinating with the students, because I think you people are my responsibility. So whenever you come across any problem related to the studies, it should be I, on the other hand, who is responding to you people, right? Okay. Do you people have anything else to say? The live classes are to be conducted at the same time on Saturdays. This is like the place where, from where I'm taking the class. It's like starts at 4 p.m. But the time that we announce in the groups, that is like according to UAE time zone, for which it is always said that this is 3 p.m. UAE time zone plus 4 GMT, according to which the session will have to be conducted. So you will all have to adjust your time according time zones accordingly. So all the people who are connecting to us from UK, probably this would be, I believe, 11 a.m. at which the class will have to be conducted. So you need to see that according to 3 p.m. UAE time zone, what your exactly the time will be at which you will have to be there in the session, right? This is the contact details of mine as well as the support team member. This is the global group link for which I was talking about. Let me just copy the link and share in the group as well. For instance, if you haven't yet joined it, so there you go. Okay. So now, students, do you people have any questions or comments, anything else which is like bothering you, any apprehension, any reservation? If there is like anything in your mind, please let me know by dropping your concern in the dialog box. There's a question: the June attempt is on what day and time? Uh, are you asking about the day on which exam will have to be conducted? Or you're asking about the starting date of the session? See, the enrollment has already been started, but the portal will become active on 21st of January. It's like literally after 4 days. So from either from Monday or Tuesday, the portal will be active, though the students are getting enrolled, but they may only see few things on the portal. The rest of the things will start getting uploaded either from Monday evening or from Tuesday. Because obviously, this is like in a phase of taking into account a lot of things as the things are being changed for June attempt. So that's basically the case. right? So is there anything else you need to ask? Apart from what has been discussed in today's session, if you still have any kind of reservation, apprehension, or maybe with respect to anything else related to the choice of optional paper that you have taken up, uh, this time is yours. You may ask as many questions as possible. There's a question, are there specific chapters that need to be completed before the live classes? Yes, for which the planner has been given to you people, which will indicate you that which chapters are to be completed before attending a live session. Live sessions have already been started. Today is going to be the fourth live session, and the recordings of previous live sessions could be found on the portal of VIFHE. So if in case from now onwards, even if you are not able to connect to any of the live session for any reason, maybe you haven't covered the syllabus, or maybe you come across any commitment for which is like not letting you attend the session, then the recording of every such session will be provided to you people. Which group link you are talking about? The one which I've shared with you? All right, let me just share another one. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. I shall definitely be sharing with you people shortly. And once the session is concluded, basically the reset orientation, I'm just going to prolong the session in the form of doing a practice question with for which I believe that my regular students will also connect me, or they must have already connected to us since the start. You got the kits, you can share it to me. You may share it with the rest of the students. Give me a minute. Do let me know if, sorry, if now this link works. Is that now working? Okay, so thank you so much for attending this reset orientation session. And now I'm just going to connect the same session for what we usually do in a routine manner. We do the practice every week for a certain question. So here the question that I need to discuss with you people is Tula part A and B. So let me just first take the question out. I'll give you the time to read the question and then I'll be discussing the relevant requirements one by one with you people. Here you go. This is the question. Kindly start reading the question and I shall be discussing part A and part B of this question with you people. I hope you have read the question, the content which is being shown to you people right now. If yes, then I will be scrolling up the screen to show you the remaining portion of the question. All right. So here you go. Have you come across, have you covered what is being shown to you people right now? If yes, then I'll scroll it up further. All right. This is basically the information related to shares in Beleza Limited, but this is like something related to requirement 3, or in other words, you may say that this is like something uh, testing the concepts related to inheritance taxes, which is not in today's schedule. So we shall be going through requirement A and requirement B of this question only in today's session, right? So, sorry. This is now the requirement. You should assume that today's date is 1st of September 25. The requirement A is basically addressing to two sub-requirements, and here they say that explain with supporting calculations the income tax implication for Tula in the tax year 25-26 in respect of the interest paid on £20,000 loan she will take out from the bank and the interest received on £80,000 loan she will make to Beleza Limited, and this whole scenario will be carrying 6 marks. See, as it is said in the question, that you need to not just to explain anything, but you will have to provide supporting calculations as well. If in case only the explanation was required, then the marks would have been like the key factor to decide that how many valid points you had to mention. If only an explanation or a description, if only the thing had to be presented in a theoretical manner, then 6 valid points were required. Maybe with two sub requirements, you could have simply say that 3 valid points related to first scenario and 3 valid points related to second scenario would have been sufficient enough, because with every theoretical question you will have to produce as many valid points as you see the score. So for instance, if the question is of worth 4 marks, you will have to produce 4 valid points. If the question is of 5 marks, then you will have to write 5 valid points. And similarly, if the question is only a descriptive in nature and it is of worth 6 marks, then 6 valid points will have been essential. I mean, they will have to be at least produced. And with two sub requirements, each sub requirement will be demanding at least 3 valid points to be written, right? Now, here it is not just the explanation, rather calculations are also given. So this is like going to be an amalgamation of theoretical as well as calculative part. Now here you are, it is not compulsory that you will be providing at least 6 valid points, maybe 2 valid points and a calculation, that would be sufficient enough. But for instance, if something is like utmost required, without telling that thing, your answer would not become a comprehensive one. Your answer would not appear to be a complete one, then you will have to go beyond that extent as well. I mean, you will not have to see that you had to just make 2 valid points because a calculation is also required. But for instance, if your answer is not sufficient to be produced in front of an examiner, then you'll have to at least give more of the points as well. And every valid point, when it comes to description, every valid point shall be of 1.1 to maximum 3 lines. I mean, you will not be creating huge paragraphs in order to address a single valid point. This will just be consuming a lot of time. This will just result into a wastage of time and nothing else, right? Okay. And as with advanced taxation, you all know that you people will be given with an option either to choose Word document or the spreadsheet. Keep one thing in mind: if the question is requiring you to produce calculation only, then spreadsheet is picked up. If the calculation, if description, the theory, then only the Word document will be sufficient enough. But if the question would be addressing both of the situation, as what the status of this question is, that not just you need to explain something, but a calculation should also be given. Now, students, let me just tell you that if the margin of calculation is high, and along with that, you need to explain or describe something as well. If a lot of calculation is to be done, then better to produce your answer on two different documents. The calculation should be done on spreadsheet. An explanation should be given on Word. And while producing the answer on Word, you will be giving a reference as in refer to spreadsheet for calculation. I mean, you will be giving a hint to your examiner that its calculative part is there. It is very much done and it is there on the spreadsheet. So if the margin of calculation is high and explanation is also to be given, you will be using both of the sheets. But if the margin of the calculation is very low, I mean, a little bit of the calculation is to be done and the explanation is required as well, then I suggest that whole of the answer should be produced on the Word document. I mean, you'll be producing the explanation as well. Why to use two different sheets? But if in case you are not comfortable doing even a little bit calculation on the Word document, then you may even choose the same strategy of doing the calculation on spreadsheet and giving explanation on the Word document. But from my point of view, if the calculation is like is like not a comprehensive one, if it is a trivial calculation, then I think that explanation, while it is being done on the Word document, you'll be producing the calculation simultaneously, right? Because if you just keep on like navigating in between the two sheets, it is itself something which is consuming a time, and time management is the most important thing. All right, did you understand this thing? Now, as far as this question is concerned, what I believe that it would not be requiring a high volume sort of calculation. So I'll be using Word document to calculate the things. First of all, what will I be doing? I shall be calculating the interest paid on £20,000 loan that Tula has taken out from the bank. I need to discuss that what is its treatment, what will be an impact on taxes, and it's like tax computation needs to be. I'll have to make a heading as well. You will always be making a heading so that your examiner will precisely come to know that what issue you are addressing. Here, I cannot, I think I try to copy the statement. Otherwise, in your exam, maybe you have tried this thing or not before, but in your exam, the content of the question can be copied and it could be produced on the answer sheet. So for the sake of like making the heading, okay, that's perfect. This is how I have copied the requirement, and this is like something you'll be doing in your real exam if that works for you as well. And you're going to convert the requirement into a heading. So it's like I'm increasing the size. I'm going to turn it into the bold statement, the first letter to be capital always, the interest paid on 20,000 loan. And obviously, this is the requirement. So its language should be a little bit changed, taken out from the bank, right? So this is how I'm just going to take a start with the heading. The appropriate heading is made. And this is basically the information given, which we will be using for the sake of drafting our answer. It says that Tula will sell 30% of her shares in Beleza Limited to her brother Arrows on 30th of September 25 for 60,000. This is the disposal proceed. And this is the sale at an undervalue. I mean, she is like making a sale for a price which is below the market value. And whenever something is like transferred to someone else for either free or for a value below the market value, this is like said to be a gratuitous gift on which inheritance tax liability shall have to be calculated. But considering inheritance tax was not something allocated in this week, so I'm not going towards that thing. But on the same day, she is going to borrow £20,000 loan from a bank for which interest of 9% per annum will be charged, and she will then be giving a loan of £80,000 to the company Bleza Limited at an interest rate of 7% per annum. Interest on both loans will be paid monthly on the last of each month. So I'm just going to discuss this thing with you people, right? Now, first of all, you need to figure out that why she has taken out this loan of £20,000 from bank. What is the purpose? To lend it to Beleza Limited to assist the business and to increase business acts. Yes, you all are right. But precisely speaking, uh, she wants to enhance the activities of Beleza Limited. So for that purpose, she has taken out the loan so that she would become in a position to lend a specific amount of loan to Beleza Limited. And what the Beleza Limited is, um, could you see that it is like said that this company is a close company and it's a closed trading company. Do you remember that in the starting chapters of income tax, it is said that whensoever an individual would be taken out a loan in order to provide finance to a closed trading company, or maybe and maybe you must have gone through few other statements as well, as in if it is like going to give a loan to employee controlled company, a partnership, a cooperative, then these are those companies for which if a loan is taken up, yes, you both are right, then this is like considered to be a qualifying loan for which if definitely the interest will be paid, so the interest payment shall be treated as a qualifying interest payment. It is deductible against total income. So income tax relief in the sense of what it is going to get deducted against total income. The income drops down. When the income drops down, and of course the tax liability will be reduced as well. So this is like kind of giving a relief for income tax computation, right? So this is how I'm just going to mention. Tula has borrowed £20,000 loan for lending to Beleza Limited, which is a close trading company. Income tax relief is available as when interest is paid on qualifying loan that becomes deductible against total income. And we need to mention this thing as well, that giving a loan to Beleza Limited is to be treated as a qualifying loan. See, I have produced the first valid point, and it is of approximately one line. Second line is like hardly used. And then when it comes to the second valid point, it is like mentioned in the form of three statements. I just wanted to say that you will not be producing huge sized, I mean, comprehensive paragraphs, because it would just result into a wastage of time. And the third thing, now I would like to ask that how much of the income tax relief is possible? As in, I want to ask from you people that how much of the interest Tula will be able to deduct against her total income. So according to you, that has to be £1,400. What about others? Would you please take a minute out and do the calculation as well? It's a very minute sort of calculation. And see, we are doing the calculation for the tax year 25-26. Let me just show you the question once again. As it is specifically said that for the tax year 25-26, you need to figure out that how much of the interest calculation would become due, which she is like going to pay, which is like relevant to the tax year 25-26, which she is like able to deduct against her total income. See, on 30th of September 25, she sold the shares to her brother, and on the same day she got the loans. So obviously from 30th of September, or you may take it as 1st of October, it's October, November, December, January, February, March, April, and it's not like April. October, November, December, January, February, and March, and 5 days of April. In our examination structure, usually we go for complete month calculation. So I'm not I'm not doing any calculation related to 6 months and 5 days. Rather, I shall keep my calculation limited to 6 months only. Yes, it's about £900 for the tax year 25-26. Okay, so it's like, I would say, as loan was taken out on 30th September 25, right? Interest of 20,000, 9% is the interest rate. And I hope you remember that interest is something for which the percentages are always set for a year. So for 6 months, the interest figure will turn out to be £900. This is like gonna be deducted against the total income of 25-26. The total income drops down. Obviously the net income will be reduced, and after the personal allowance calculation, we determine the taxable income. But with the help of this interest payment on qualifying loan, this will have an impact on reducing the taxable income as well, and tax liability shall have been reduced as well. So could you see one thing, that Tula is, I believe, a high rate taxpayer? How do I know that thing? It was explicitly mentioned in the question that she's a high rate taxpayer, which would mean that any deduction which would lead to a reduction of her income would lead to a saving of taxes at the rate of 40%, right? So by deducting this £900 against the total income, she being a high rate taxpayer, she would eventually be saving taxes, which was otherwise payable at the rate of 40%. So, how much of the tax will be saved? That will be reduced by 360. So, she got a tax relief of £360. So, this is how we have mentioned the points related to the loan that she took out from the bank. And now the next thing that we need to discuss is what happens that she is like going to receive interest on £80,000 that she has lent to Bleza Limited. She must be having £60,000 already with her, and she took a loan of £20,000 from bank, and altogether she had given a loan of £80,000 to her closed trading company, from which she is receiving an interest. So what do you think, whenever the person receives an interest, what has to be the treatment? A very simple thing, whenever you receive an interest, what happens? First of all, you need to figure out what an interest figure for the tax year 25-26 is. And she being a high rate taxpayer, she'll be paying taxes at the rate of 40%. But keep one thing in mind, that high rate taxpayers do have an eligibility towards a nil rate band as well. Yes, she will have to pay income taxes. And when she had given the loan to Bleza Limited, she lent the amount to Bleza Limited on 1st of October. I mean, this is once again about 6 months in the tax year, but this time round, the interest that she's going to receive from Bleza Limited is at the rate of 7%. She herself is paying 9% to bank, but she is like charging 7% to the company. Okay, so the first thing would be that I shall have to make the heading, and it will be better if you could copy paste the requirement and turn the requirement into heading. I mean, by changing few words, the statement will be changed. the interest received on £80,000 she made to Blazer Limited, or if in case you keep it as it is, she'll make to Blazer Limited, that would be fine as well. So Tula, sorry, will be receiving interest of, it's like £80,000 into 7%, but as she lent it on 1st of October, so that would mean that for only 6 months she has received the interest. So how much of the interest will be falling in the tax year 25-26? That would be of, could you please tell me? £2,800. All right. So £2,800 is the amount of interest that she's going to be receiving in the tax year 25-26. Which is accessible under savings income column. Then the thing is, how much of the tax she will have to pay, as she is a high rate taxpayer, which is why first £500 will be assessed over nil rate, while remaining will be charged at 40%. The amount of tax payable will be, it's like 2,800 in minus 500 into 40%, and that would be what? Thanks for letting me know. It is of £920. So this is like the amount of tax that she will have to bear, right? So this is like the second thing that has to be mentioned. I'm just going to provide the answer in the form of bullet points. If in case you would like to make a one single paragraph, that is also fine, but I usually find it more feasible to give a hint to examiner that I have tried producing as many points as possible, just to just to provide the valid points in terms of like statements of 1 up to 4 lines. Right? Is this thing clear? So this is about the first requirement, and this is about the second sub requirement of main requirement A. Is this thing clear to each and every one of you? Now here is requirement B. It says that we need to explain with supporting calculation. So once again, not just the descriptive, but a calculative testing is also seen in this requirement of the question. And in such cases, either you'll be using Word and the spreadsheet both. Otherwise, if you find the margin of the calculation is on the lower side, then you will be using Word document only, and you'll be producing the calculation simultaneously, as what I have done with requirement A before. We need to calculate arrows additional income tax liability, if any, for the tax year 25-26 as a result of provision of the van and the computer by Blazer Limited. Now, who the Arrows is, he's Tula's brother. This is like his personal introduction, but the most important thing is that he is not employed by Blazer Limited, and he will have a trading income in the tax year 25-26 in addition to the dividend from Blazer Limited, and he's a high rate taxpayer for the tax year 25-26. And there are assets which are given to Arrows by Blazer Limited from 1st October 25 The company will provide him with the use of new van for private purposes. The van will cost the company £25,000, and they have got a carbon dioxide emission of 112 grams per kilometer. The company, I mean Bleza Limited, will not provide any fuel for Aero's private motoring. And from 1st October 25, the company will also loan a new computer with a cost of £1,300 to Aeros for his personal use. Now, my question is that if Arrows would have been the employee of the company, then he must have received a lot of benefits. But right now he is getting all those things despite the fact he is neither he is not an employee in the company. But what is now the connection of him with the company? This is like a kind of a new concept that I'm going to give you. Maybe few of you have already gone through this concept, but this is like something covered in corporation tax aspects. But as it does contain a little bit of the information that I need to provide you people over here, the rest of the calculation can be very well understood, despite the fact in this week you were not supposed to cover corporation tax implications, but still, I have taken a chance to discuss this part of the question with you people. What is Arrow's connection with Bleza Limited? All right. Yes, the question that I asked you people that what is Arrow's relation with the shareholder and you with the company, sorry, and he is the shareholder definitely. But the point is that the chapter that you have covered where you did discuss the benefits, wasn't that about employees as I taught you employment income? And I told you that if someone is working as an employee in some organization, then employees will be calculating employment income and they will be paying income taxes on it. So that was the chapter about employees, and employees are usually seen receiving the benefit. But this is like a different thing as Arrows being a shareholder. He is not a director, he's not an employee, he's just a shareholder, and he is like receiving benefits from the company. Now, the thing is, this is like another concept which you will learn later, and this is the concept of participator. As when the company is said to be a closed company, when the company is said to be a closed company and you are a shareholder and you are one of the shareholders in the closed company, and just by being the shareholder, only being a shareholder, you are receiving the benefits. Because usually what closed companies are, that if the number of the shareholders are limited ones, they are five or less than five, or if they are more than five, then the control is in the hand of directors. I mean, majority, more than 50% of the shareholders are the directors. So this is like the type of a company which is said to be a closed company. If you are an employee and you are receiving the benefits, then what we have taught in employment income calculation, being an employee, you will have to compute the benefit. It will become a part of employment income and you'll be paying off the taxes. But just being a shareholder in a closed company and you're getting the benefit, we will be applying the rules which we have discussed in employment income. I mean, whatever the benefits we have learned previously, the benefit calculation will be done, but the amount of benefit will not be treated as a part of employment income. It is treated as dividend for the shareholder. Because what actually a shareholder gets from the company, if I'm a shareholder, if you are a shareholder in some company, what do you get in return? The benefit, salary, or the dividend? Of course, if you're just the shareholder, dividend is something which you receive in return, which we also call as distribution over here. This is the precise word, this is a precise thing that you receive from the company. So If you are not getting the dividend, rather you are getting the benefits, then the rules which we have learned in case of employment income calculation, the same rules will be applied to compute the benefit. But that benefit value, instead of like treated as a part of employment income, that amount shall be treated as if individual is receiving, Arrows is receiving a dividend, and the income tax liability shall have to be calculated accordingly as well, right? Yes, so all those students who are not yet reached the corporation tax implication, as it is a very little bit of the new information that I had to give you right now, I thought to discuss this part of the question as well. But obviously, once you come across the closed company implications as well, this thing will come to your mind that this is like something which you have like read somewhere else, for which you have done the practice as well. All right. So, which benefits they are talking about? Number one, a van was given, and on which date? On 1st of October. So, first of all, I shall be applying the rules related to van. And of course, now I'm going to draft an answer. The first important thing is I shall be making a heading. This question is of worth 6 marks. Again, okay, what do you suggest? What has to be the precise heading in this case? Though I may copy paste the requirement, but if you want to make the heading on your own, what do you think? What has to be the precise heading in this case? A simple one, provision of benefits by Bleza Limited to Arrows. Right? Okay. So first of all, whenever, in fact, I should start with Arrows is a shareholder, or you may also call it as participator in Bleza Limited, which is a close trading company, right? So this is the main thing, that Arrows is a shareholder in a closed trading company. And if the shareholder, or you may also take it as participator, receives dividend from closed company, any provision of benefit shall be assessed as distribution. By distribution, we mean to say the dividend, right? So the amount of van benefit will be, you can see, as the van is costing 25,000 pound, and its carbon dioxide emission is also mentioned, but both of these things are like irrelevant, because carbon dioxide emission is important for the sake of determining the benefit if the question is about cars benefit, and the cost doesn't play any role in it. With vans, it is a standard value on which benefit shall have to be assessed. Does anyone remember what that benefit value will be? Though the standard value of the benefit will be provided to you people in your question. So that's basically 3,960 pounds. Yes, you are right. It is 3,960 pounds. 3,960 is the standard value of the benefit if the van is provided for non-job related purposes. But see, as the van was not provided from the start of the tax year, rather it was given to him on 1st of October. So the as per the rules of benefit, the benefit needs to be apportioned, and there is no use contribution that he has paid for it. So the benefit figure will be of, can you please tell me what is 3960 into 6 by 12? What that value will be? 1980 pounds, right? So this is like the van benefit will be of 1980 pound, and this will be treated as distribution. This will be treated as dividend. And then the next point is that he was like given with a computer as well. As a loan would mean that the company doesn't pass the ownership of the asset to him. Rather, they are just giving him the loan so that he can make uh, use of the loan. And obviously, for non-job related purposes, it's clearly mentioned. So when an asset is given to an employee, the asset benefit is like calculated by simply multiplying the cost of the asset into 20%. The value for computer benefit will be, it's like 1300 into 20%. That would give you the benefit value. And of course, afterwards, we need to apportion it as well, because this thing is like something which he has not used for the whole year, just like what happened with van. So only for 6 months, the benefit value shall have to be calculated. I mean, whatever the rules we have learned in case of employment income benefit calculation, the same rules are to be applied, but the final answer is not seen as a part of employment income. The final answer needs to be seen as a dividend. So what is like going to be the computer benefit? Can you please tell me? What's the answer? 1300 into 20% into 6 by 12. That would be of 130 pounds. Okay. I'm just believing what you are saying. I hope you are doing the correct calculations. Okay. So again, which is like treated as dividend. Now, the thing is, do let me know that when it comes to dividend, nil rate band of first 500 pound would apply. But would that be applied in this case as well? What do you suggest? Would 500 pound being the nil rate apply on it? Yes, you are completely right. Uh, no, he has already utilized it. How come? It is said that the company already announces the dividend, and Tula owns only 10,000 shares, and her brother Arrows must be having the dividend as well. And this is like quite a lot, the shareholding that they that they declare every year. And if Eros is already receiving a dividend, he must have utilized the nil rate band of 500 pounds. So if he is like going to receive benefits, which is to be treated as dividend, the first 500 implication would not apply. For instance, if he has not received any dividend, then of course, by treating them as a dividend, he would have applied the nil rate band of 500 pound as well. As nil rate of 500 pound is already used because of receiving the dividends already, the whole amount of both van and computer will be assessed. Income tax liability would therefore be, it's like what the benefit for van is, it is 1980. And what the benefit for computer is, this is of 130. So altogether, this is going to be of 2110, I believe. And what the status of Arrows is, I mean, is he a basic rate taxpayer or a high rate taxpayer or an additional rate taxpayer? It is also said that he is a high rate taxpayer. So he'll be paying taxes over a high rate. And could you please tell me what the high rate will be? What the high rate will be? Yes, you're right. This is 33.75% because this is now to be treated as dividend, which is why the rate of 33.75%, which is the high rate for dividend, shall have to be applied. Could you please tell me the answer straight away? 33.75% over the total value of the benefit, which is precisely to be called as dividend. It is of £712. Right? So once again, I could have done the whole calculation in one single comprehensive passage, but I have tried making points. See, and I've tried producing at least 6 points. Even the calculation is allocated as a separate point so that my examiner would definitely be giving me with 6 on 6 because of the fact that I have catered to the marks exactly by making 6 valid points, and every valid point is not crossing the threshold of 3 lines. Could you see that? Okay. Now, students, in this question, requirement C is something related to inheritance tax, but I believe that by the end of next week, there could be a chance that you people might have covered that portion of inheritance tax as well. If that would be the case, and I shall definitely be covering this question completely. Otherwise, we shall be like doing a question in which maximum the concept that needs to be tested is restricted to CGT because though in the upcoming week you people are supposed to cover inheritance tax rules, but considering obviously you not all of you can be able to keep a pace with what is mentioned in the planner. So that's like totally acceptable. Uh, Nearly all of you are lagging a little bit behind, but I'm not saying that definitely all of you. There are few people who are basically at a very good pace. They have covered a lot of things. There is like 1 to 2 students who has even covered all the lectures. So that is like obviously dependent upon the time and the number of personal commitments that you have to cater with. So this is not something which is to be taken as a demotivational factor by you people by just thinking that I have not even started with this thing, or I have just covered 2 chapters and there's someone in the class who's covered all of them. This is something which is like very personal to each and every person, and you will have to cover everything according to your pace, according to the time that you can spend with respect to other things that you are committed to. Right? So let me just tell you that if you people have any apprehension, any reservation related to today's session, if there's like any question, please let me know by dropping them in the dialog box. Thank you so much for attending the session. I just hope the session had been fruitful to you all. And if there's like no any further question, then the time has come to wind up the session. Thank you so much, people, once again for attending the session. Have a happy weekend. Goodbye.